we need a dating advice from you as well. I think
I'm the wrong person
Well-
to get dating advice from. I mean, I got, what, me and Mara met at 16, married at 22, so that's that,
No, but that means you played the game really early.
Yeah, there is a benefit of playing the game early. There's obviously a downside to it as well, but I think
What's
if
the
you play
downside?
well, if you are one of those people who want loads of girls and all that kind of stuff, or even if you're a girl who wants loads of guys, right? It's not just guys. Then obviously, if you commit to someone at a very early age, unless your partner's open to open marriage, then you're with that one person, right? Also, if you do commit very early and you put in like 8-9 years and then it breaks down, especially if you're a woman, that's probably your best years in terms of youth that you probably can't get back. But there's obviously downsides to everything. But the good side is that you do grow together. So whatever issues you do have, you go through. That's one thing that I really enjoyed being with Marwa or Mimsy, is that she met me at 16. She met me when I was a young boy. She met me when I was a graduate. She met me when I was going through my struggles in career. She was with me the whole time, and she's now with me, like have been with me when I have job, money, and now with kids. So there's not been a phase of my life that I haven't shared or had with Marwa, and that's irreplaceable. That's something which you can't replace with any other kind of experience. There's definitely a benefit for both men and women to get hitched early. But this opens up another can of worms. I know Haris and Armin about to jump in and start, get their daggers out.
I'm just gonna say, look, it's obviously it's beautiful, and I was talking to someone who's someone very the grandmother passed away, and she was saying then how grandmother, grandfather were together. It was so beautiful, and it's still, like. So I was like, yeah, that's beautiful. But then also she recalled that, they would have had some conflicts as well, and they went through these ups and downs. And then I look at ourselves, because we are now spoiled for choices. We do live in a free society. I don't think we as species, we as people, were designed to be monogamous. I don't think we were. And this is why most societies turned up polygamous rather than, what's the word for when
monogamous? Yeah.
No. When women have more partners, I forgot the word.
Hypergamy. What?
No, the hypergamy is like when
polygyny.
Polygyny. I think.
Polyamory.
Religion.
No. Yeah, I think so. No, not polyamory. Yeah. Anyway, so I read a study.
Yeah.
I think there was like 1,000. I think I tweeted that. So there were 1,000 cultures that looked at. Majority of them were polygamous and then monogamous, and then very few of them were like where women had multiple sex partners. So I do think biology has a role to play in that. And if you go through, like, you guys are 30, 31, I don't know how you're still at the peak of your powers. So I think, as beautiful as everything is, family and everything, I don't know, like I would, again, not wishing anything on you, but I'm just saying, like, if I was that, I think I would have gone through, like, my relationship lasted 13 years. Yes, there were lots of ups and downs in that. And it was beautiful. And then I thought, but then I hit my late 30s, and I think my ex-partner, she was going through the same phase of life as well. And then it just fell apart.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a loss per se. Like, yeah, it is sometimes it is sad, but it's not really the end of your life. Like,
no, of course
not.
Okay,
so you go on, you start something else again, and that might end as well. And then I see that as life, like in brackets, like life is going in these little segmented life. I can't imagine. I think it sounds very beautiful if you were to write your biography or memoirs that, I met my high school sweetheart when I was 16, and then they both died together on a deathbed at the age of 95. It's very beautiful.
No, I agree with you. And this is actually, despite the fact that I've been, like, in a marriage or whatever, or relationship since 16, I 100% agree with the facts, the biology, all that stuff. I don't disagree with that. I think monogamy is a choice. It's not a default setting. You have to go in with a choice. You can't be like, well, this is just going to work out. No, it's not going to work out like that. And if you look at the stats on marriages, like 50% end divorce. So people have become serial monogamous. They have one relationship, one-on-one, break up, another one-on-one. So really, is that true monogamy in terms of one man, one woman for life? Not really. On the other side, I have found that me and Marwa, and this is where I don't know about the specifics of your relationship, so I speak in general, but we have changed and we have evolved, but we've evolved and changed in the same direction together. So, for example, the biggest example is when we both became ex-Muslim. It was almost like, like I can't remember, there's this word that Dawkins uses where there's two different types of animals in different locations, and they both kind of evolve in the same direction independently. There's a term for it, right?
Yeah, I forgot the term, but yeah, I know.
There's like an independent kind of evolution in the same direction. That's what happened to us. We were discovering Islam together and exploring it together, but at the same time, you both kind of left. Now, imagine if.
But were you talking
coevolution?
Coevolution, yes. but were you talking to each other? You think that one might have influenced the other, or something?
Oh, well, we definitely had an influence on each other. I mean, we were talking to each other, but there was a part where, because I was working in abroad in the UAE, so I was away from her for 3 months. So when I came back so I was by myself and she was by herself. When we both came back, we both were like, "Yeah, this is not true." And I was scared to say it, but she said it, and I was like, "Oh, she believes it as well, so it's okay for me to say it as well." But there was that pit. But if we had stopped evolving in the same direction, then it would have broken up. 100%. 100% it would have. So even if we loved each other, if we go in different directions, it's going to end. So I think as partners, you have to grow in the same direction at the same time. And when you don't, that's where you get conflicts. So even if you love the person, your life goals, your objectives, they don't match up anymore. And that's where you get issues.
Okay, I don't really think, when people, again, goes back to the advice I say all the time, there is no right way. Right? Yeah. You have to go discover this for yourself. Like what works for me and what works for Paris and what works for Vidu could be completely different. And so.
But there are general principles. You would admit that there are general principles. So, for example, it's better to evolve with your partner rather than against your partner, or in different directions. So
not even that. I do agree there are certain. Not even that, because sometimes you complete each other. Like in a way, it's like. There's something that you like.
Read each other's sentences.
No, complete each other is like this.
I say half the sentence, the other one says completes the rest.
Are you hitting at me? Muslim. Like, are you checking? Because we complete each other's sentences all the time. Okay. No, but even like, because a lot of people are good matches, even though they have different interests, they talk about different things, but they have enough similarities.
I'm not saying, you're right. I'm not saying that me and Mara are like duplicates. Like, but in terms of life principles, like she has her own interests that are independent of me, and I don't really care, and vice versa.
Right.
But in terms of principles, like your main objective, that has to be the same. I mean, otherwise you'll get to
for
a
your
point,
life.
Like they'll get to a point where something will happen, and then that will be challenged, and then one person will say, "No, I can't do this." Someone will say, "Well, I have to do this," and that's where you have an issue. That's what I would say, and I think your principles have to be aligned 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I just have an allergic reaction to people who say, like, I'm not. Maybe you're right here, but when I say this, it has to be this, it has to be that, right? Because sometimes things are just working out, right? And if like, let's say two people are together, and things are working, but if they had listened to other people who said, like, this has to happen, or it wouldn't work out if that happened, or I mean, like, the stars have to align, like. If they had taken those advice seriously, this relationship that is working might have not worked. If they were like, "Oh no, you guys don't have this. This is definitely going to fail."
Yeah.
Like,
but you do think the way we set certain standards, we do get subliminally, we pick up some cues from society at large, and then and that turns into our behaviors. For example, in the West, they say that family system is falling apart because there's too much free sex and too much independence, and I do agree there's a lot of independence, and when you empower women, yes, women get more say in deciding who is going to be their partner and how much whether she's going to work or not, or how many babies she's going to make, etc. And then it gives rise to conflict. So whereas other traditional societies, they say where they promote monogamy as a virtuous action, or even in some Islamic countries, they go with, okay, polygamy is allowed, but at least as long as a woman is under your thumb. So these behaviors now, as you say that, okay, there's no right or wrong, and people should be allowed to do, but then who wouldn't want to have more sex? I mean, this is what I don't understand. Like, I mean, but fair enough, we have a very good example in Vidu.
Asexual people.
Yeah, but come on, you're picking up 0.1% of population. I just don't understand.
Armin Navabi.
I remember when Charlie Sheen, at the peak of his powers in 2.5 Men or something, he says, "Oh, I'm diagnosed as a sex addict." I was like, that's a lousy excuse. Who isn't a sex addict?
No.
I know. I'm making a joke of the situation. Of course, these guys are
asexuals are sex addicts. Asexuals.
Yeah, there you go.
No. Most people are not sex addicts, because sex addict is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I know that. I'm making a joke. I mean, sometimes you don't get a joke. Like, I'm just saying.
I'm ruining your joke. I'm ruining your joke.
No. Yeah. Anyway.
Was that the question that Charlie? He goes, "What's your sexual prowess?" 2.5 Men. That's your. I've got the sexual prowess of 2.5 Men. But you know what? This is what actually Jordan Peterson. I want to bring him in because he said something very interesting. You see, I think it's true. I think so. He says monogamy, and this is why I said monogamy is a choice. It's not a default. Monogamy, he said, is good to be. He said societies that are more monogamous are more stable, because when you get to a society where a small number of men control the access to a large number of women, the men that don't have women, they'll just be like incels, but times 100. They'll be like, I'm not getting women. I'm literally no one. So I'm just going to kill these guys and take their women from them. So it's more likely to have upheaval when a majority
when does that
of
happen,
men,
though? But when has that happened?
I think in the past, not now it's very different. But in the past, when there was
That's not what we had wars over. Like that has never happened.
What's the first thing these guys do? What do they do? Before we had like oil, right? Fighting over. Though now those are the resources. But before oil, what do you do when you invade a country? You take their women.
Yeah, but that's one of their
women and children. You kill the men. So you get rid of the guy.
No. Wait.
What do lions do?
No.
Harish, I know you're a lion.
You're wrong. Your history is wrong. That's not what people.
My biology isn't wrong. What do lions do? What do lions do? When they go into a new pride, they kill the men and take the women. And even the women, they kill their own children.
But we don't do that. But that's in a war situation. Yeah, in humans,
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think you're
wrong. You're wrong. Wait, Harry, hold on. Let me get an answer.
Listen, I'm not talking about asexuals invading. Asexuals don't invade because they don't have no reason to invade.
Men don't
invade. Resources.
They don't need resources.
That's not why men invaded. Men invaded because they were being paid, because they needed to eat. It was more about food than sex. Sex, if they invaded a city, okay, that was part of their rewards. Obviously, if you got to rape a city, that would be like, oh my God, that's a great plus, okay? But that's not the reason why they went and joined as a soldier.
There's one example in history.
They went and joined as a soldier because they needed money and they were paying them.
And there was a promise of getting laid. Why do you think they have this virgin stuff? If it was just money, they'd be like,
not all the time. Most of the time, there was not a promise of getting laid. And also in situations when commanders
in normal society,
we have actually many examples of commanders being against that policies, and they had still recruited soldiers. So why did they were able to recruit?
There is one example. There's one example to support Armin's case. Vidu's case. I don't know if you guys have heard the story of Etruscans versus Romans. So the common story is that the Romans didn't have any women, and so they invited Etruscans to, and they said, "Hey, let's be friends." Roman. Etruscan was a pre-Roman.
Wait, you're celebrating Romans raping? We do?
Yeah, so
I'm celebrating the example that's in my favor.
Yes, Romans go. And
so Etruscans. So basically, Etruscans came. They trusted the Romans, and they
that doesn't prove his point.
It does.
No. But their main
magnificent empire. And that was
their
the
main
foundation.
motivation. Again, it's a
Candidate.
it's a mythical story anyway.
Myths are real. Myths are real.
Yeah, no, it's
If
probably
they're in my
mythical
favor.
anyway.
That's
But
okay.
but
I know there are. You guys don't know how data works, okay? Like, yes, we have examples of soldiers being more eager to join the fight because that reward was there, okay?
no,
That doesn't prove
they
the
did that for
point.
that reason. I mean,
Exactly.
you're not. Okay, I mean,
Yes, but
that
that's an
war-
example. That's not. That doesn't prove a trend.
It does.
An
Of
example
course
doesn't
not.
prove a trend. Okay,
Of
well then,
course not.
I'm not
No,
telling
but
it to you. I'm telling it to video. Look,
I
he
mean,
feels
no,
like
no. I mean, you don't
his point
need.
has been
I
shown.
mean,
Look at
I
him.
mean, let me explain it properly so other people may understand that too. You might get the point, but others might not. Okay, let me explain it. So, what Vidu is saying that okay, and I disagree with him. I think majority of wars have actually been fought. For example, when people say, "Oh, wars have been fought over women and land," it's like, "Oh," when you ask them, "Oh, how many wars have been fought over women?" Helen of Troy, and I don't know. It is always about land and resources. That's always the case. It's not about women, and it's not.
But women
the
are
incentive-
resources. I'm sorry to say this.
No, but
Roman. Hello. Do you want to go to mommy? Mommy?
Yeah, he wants to go to mommy. Oh,
Do you want to
hello.
go to mommy?
There he is.
Mommy? Sorry.
That's okay.
Hang on, give me a second, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Talking
Oh,
about
it's
Roman.
okay.
Hang on a second.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I think what he said about Jordan Peterson, I don't think that's. Yeah, I think Jordan Peterson comes up with these wacky ideas, and I think they float with incels. Now, incels there are a lot of sexless men out there. I mean, a lot of studies are coming forward, and they're saying that men are having less sex, and the top 20% of men are having more sex, and so yeah, I don't know what kind of consequence it's going to have. What do you reckon?
Okay. Wait, I just want to say this like, for example, let's say companies today sometimes give you I don't know, a reward to taking you on a trip, right? They take you to Mexico as a reward for good performance, right? And everybody's excited, like, oh my god, that's amazing, let's go. They're giving us a bonus, they're taking us on a trip to Mexico. Okay, does that mean that they were working for this? People work in general. The concept of working for companies is because of trips to Mexico. It's not. It's because of money. People need to eat. People need to survive. Okay, but if we have and maybe we could find an example that somebody signed up for a company only because they have a lot of travels and this guy likes to travel. But that doesn't change the idea that the concept of working for companies is because so you could get paid, so you could pay the bills and eat. Okay. And in general, in history, most of the time when soldiers signed up to join an army is because they needed to provide themselves with food and like with their family or whatever. Maybe some of them were like, okay, the pay is good, and also they let us, I don't know, rape women, so that's an additional bonus, so that might have been a major influence. But in general, if the pay was not there, most people would not join armies. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Anyways, I don't know how we even got here. We were
talking about started with relationship advice, and then we went into monogamy versus polygamy, and then
so monogamy. If you want to say it's unnatural or rather a choice, I wouldn't say unnatural because some people do naturally want monogamy, which is fine. There's a spectrum of people. There's
I think a lot of social. I reckon there's a lot of social brainwashing in that.
I agree. As someone who's monogamous, I have come to this realization because I'm like, monogamy was the only thing that I kind of still believed in since pre-Islamic. That's my pre-Islamic remnant, you could say, belief.
But everything else polygamous. But Islam is polygamous.
It is, but most people, especially in the Western world, you're monogamy, right? Whatever it is. I mean,
yeah, but that's just modern Muslims. Islam itself
yeah,
is not.
So modern Muslims, it's monogamous. So I'm like, is it really though? And everything you were saying about, like desire. It doesn't matter how much you love your wife. Your desire is not going to go away. That will never extinguish as long as you have blood pumping through your veins, right? And one drop of testosterone, that will never go. Doesn't matter how much you love. So that was like, how do you reconcile that? And is it something I have to marry someone just to have sex with them? Like, that's a high and everything that comes with marriage. Like, it's such a high price, very high cost to have one sexual encounter. Doesn't seem fair to me, right? So I was like, really? And then on the flip side, like a more Abrahamic way would be like, oh, you're being perverted, you got bad thoughts, dirty thoughts in your head, go have a cold shower, whatever it is. But I'm like, and then they're also very anti-masturbation. So the only way I can have is to have marry someone, have a legal contract to have sex, and I can't even masturbate. Like there has to be a middle way in between those two. You can't tell me my only option is marriage or just become a monk.
This is actually a good point, because limiting the way that you could satisfy yourself makes young men frustrated, and young men now you have an army of people to recruit from. So the same people yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's a good point. Yeah. So a lot of people from the right lean, they prescribe you with a way of life that creates the frustration that they could then recruit from. Yeah. That's a good point.
But this, so I do think there is the fact is we don't have a very healthy conversation about sex and masturbation, this kind of stuff. Either you're a porn addict or no fap, bro, no fap. I don't even look at this. I don't even or it's like that's a sin and you're pervert and you're dirty. Like some of the examples of Muslims I've seen, this one famous guy, he's like Andrew Tate's bodyguard. What convinced him to stop masturbating? Some imam told him, if you filmed yourself masturbating and you were like, oh, like you'd be so embarrassed you never want to masturbate again. I'm like, I wouldn't film myself taking a shit either, right?
No, wait. A video of me masturbating that would
whoa,
people would pay money to see that. I could tell you that. Like, I wouldn't mind if that got leaked.
Armin will unsheath his Persian scimitar. Just take it out.
You must have very low confidence to be like, oh no, a video of me masturbating. Oh no, I hope nobody.
No, because it's private. It's private. Nothing has to be. Not everything has to be public.
You must have low confidence.
That's not low confidence. Why don't you go and take a shit in the middle of the street? So, hey, I'm confident with my bum. I'm confident with the poop coming out of my bum.
Wow.
See that thing?
Very telling of how much shame culture has made people compare
there's certain things that are private.
Masturbation with taking a shit. This is how we're like categorizing things.
It's private.
The beautiful act of a sexual act with taking a shit. Like these are not comparable.
It's private. It's private. It's your private. It's your private thing. You don't have to do everything in public. This you're in your effort to be really, really progressive. You're saying, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with that. No, I'd be actually embarrassed because I don't want certain things to come out.
It's fine if you want to be embarrassed, but don't put masturbation next to taking a shit.
No, it would be.
That is. Okay, there you go. Then you have a problem.
Armin, I have a question for you. Has Haris internalized Abrahamic shame when it comes to masturbation? Has he internalized it?
Some of it, yes.
It's certain things. I reckon sex is a very private matter. So here's my rationale, and I can't see anyone faulting that. I think sex is a very private matter. And I think it loses its worth when it's just thrown around casually. This is why
you're shaming sex workers now.
No, I'm not. Yeah. Each to their own. I'm not putting any judgment on them. So when I'm saying
for me, it loses its worth for me because so many people share it and they don't see. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe they're in denial. I don't know. I'm just not encroaching. Yeah, well, no, I don't know. Maybe I don't.
You just said to each their own. You say to each their own, but now you're like.
I'm saying each to their. Well, I can also say that. Hey, you have a view which could be very messed up. I could say that as well without So what? Bad luck. Bad luck. You disagree with me, but I can say that. Of course, I can say.
Well,
that.
I didn't say. What?
No. You're saying you're going in the political correctness part. You're going in the political correctness part.
He's bigger. Language police.
Am I censoring you?
I reckon.
Cancel Horace.
Cancel. The more casual sex you have, the less you're going to enjoy it as opportunities you get. Certain things. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Look, we're not gonna conduct scientific studies on you, like how you performed when you were 22 years old and how you perform now. When this is an unfalsifiable claim, we're not going to be able to say. So you've slept with no. Actually, no. There are no studies that actually say that. Okay, men perform the same way at 40 as they did when they're 22.
That's not what you keep changing your claims.
I'm not. I'm saying the same thing. So the more sex you have, let me say it again. The more sex you have, the less enjoyable it becomes for you. That's a fact.
Diminishing returns.
No, but
Law
you're
of
saying
diminishing returns.
20s and 60s. It's not about. That's not about how much sex you had. That's because you're
No,
getting older.
so a guy who's fresh in the market at 22, he's obviously hasn't had as much sex at 22, but now he's had like he's been just.
That's a
going one
function
after
of
another.
you getting older, not because of the number of sex you had. That's mostly because you're getting older.
No, a 30-year-old man who has had less sex with women would be. Let's just go with a ballpark number. 40-year-old man. He's only been with, let's say, 3 women in his life, and a man who's been with like 40 women, the guy who's at 40 is not going to be as enticed as a guy who's had sex with less women.
Yeah, oh, you're just saying because something that you have more of, you're going to be less interested in because it's normal to you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
So
but your performance,
but again, the same thing.
No, you're switching things because you say, because
it
your
affects your performance as well.
Oh my God, you don't. No. Your performance drops. Not if your performance improves with the number of sex that you have. The reason why you're saying someone's performance drop is not because they're having a lot of sex. Their desire might drop, but their performance is only going to drop because they're turning into an old man. Okay, not because they had a lot of sex.
I just told you that it's a man who's 40. The 2 men who are 40. One who's had.
Okay. I think you're not listening to what I'm saying, but it's okay. Yeah, but should we want to another topic?
Did you get what I said? But anyway, so based on that, I can say the sex is a very private matter, and I think it should not come out. You cheapen it, and it's a very strong human emotion between 2 individuals, and therefore those people should respect it. That's what I'm saying. So having a wank on camera, you can do whatever you want, but I think that's not something to be.
You do you, okay? You do you, okay? If that's your kink, if I
do myself. How am I going to do myself?
Wow.
I'm not banging. Okay. I'm not into banging myself. I'm just joking.
Somebody's kinks are to expose themselves, and if that's you, there's no shame in that. And if that adds pleasure to your life, go with that. Okay. If it's not, if you feel,
I could still say, I could still say, like I think that's a very,
nobody's saying you can't.
Yeah. So let me say it. But why are you getting offended on that?
Well. You're saying, let me say it. Did I stop you? I didn't stop
you say you. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. You say you do you. Like I'm sorry. I felt maybe you didn't
okay,
like
okay, sorry. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I like your perspective. Okay, so I'm not stopping you. Okay, but all right. To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.